Live from Beit Shemesh and broadcasted around the world, you are listening to the Frum Entrepreneur Podcast with your host, Nahum Kligman. Interviews and advice from Jewish entrepreneurs from around the world. Listen, learn, be Matzliach.
Episode 7 of the Frum Entrepreneur, and I am extremely excited about today's episode. I am very proud to have not only someone who I am jealous of as a profession that I wish, I was doing, and I wish I had thought of it, but someone who I've known pretty much his whole life, a bit younger than me. Our families are super close, and somebody I actually used to babysit for just a few years ago. So I want to welcome to the show my dear friend, Yosef Davis, who is the CEO and Executive Director of TorahAnytime.com. Yosef, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We have known each other for a while, huh?
Yes, a very good while. But you mentioned that you babysat for me a few years ago. I just want to set the record straight that I'm a little older than babysitting age. So it was maybe several years ago, and we had good times. I remember
we did have good times.
I was in my jammies, and you're really great. You're amazing. You're my favorite babysitter.
Thank you very much. This is actually the second episode where I'm interviewing somebody that I babysat for. Back in, I think, episode 4, was it, with Tolly Klein. I babysat his kids. We told over a story. I don't know. I guess, listen, I guess if we're still friends after all these years, it's got to say something about us, right?
Yes, definitely.
So, first of all, actually, you could probably my kids could probably babysit your kids now. I mean, that's how long ago we're talking, right?
All right. Yeah.
All right. So first, before we even get started, I have to tell you this crazy, crazy story because it just really, I think it will help define or frame this conversation and frame what Torah Anytime is all about. This is a true story. Just happened to us a few weeks ago on, I think it was Yontif lunch, Pesach. And we had some friends over that we hadn't seen in a while. And they just made Aliyah from somewhere in New York. And I said to them, we were just talking, and I said, what made you make Aliyah? I mean, you came, not only did you make Aliyah, but you made Aliyah like in the middle of the year. I think they came Hanukkah time. I said, who does that? Who just picks themselves up and leave in the middle of the year? And some of their kids are a little bit older, and you have to leave their schools and get into new schools and everything that goes into making Aliyah. I said, what possessed you guys? And they told us the following story. They said that for years, they've been married, for 10 years, whatever it is. They said for years, their night activity at night was to watch a movie together. And whenever they had time, they really enjoyed it, that they would watch a movie. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, after years of doing this, the wife said, you know what? Let's watch a shiur instead. And the husband was like, sure, I'll watch a shiur. And so she searched on Google for like a Torah shiur or a Torah lecture. And sure enough, she came out with TorahAnytime.com. She went to the site and they found a shiur that they looked like they'd enjoy. And that was the last time, or I should say the night before, was the last time they ever watched a movie. Since that time, every night has been another shiur. Instead of watching a movie, they replaced it with watching a shiur. And this went on for more than a year. And they just kept growing and growing more closer to Hashem, redirecting their whole lifestyle. Until finally they couldn't take it anymore. They said, we just got to get out of here. And they learned very strong, they had a very strong passion just to leave America and come to Eretz Yisrael. And they said it's all because of TorahAnytime.com.
Wow.
I mean,
incredible.
You probably heard similar stories to this. I mean, it's the power of Torah and it's the power of what you're doing. You're not just putting out content and people, enjoy it and look at, Torah has a way of entering your neshama. And so when someone's watching one of the shiurim on TorahAnytime.com, and I know that my wife and I I've told you this in the past that we're big fans of Rav Wallerstein, and we love his shiurim, and we often watch one of his shiurs like a couple times a week, as our activity. And it's just this stuff that comes out of Torah, it enters your neshama. You have these speakers and their Torah just, you could tell their passion and it just enters you and it has an effect on you. And I think that's really what you guys are doing. You guys are like changing people's lives.
That's why we do what we do. I mean, we do what we do because we're our own biggest fans. We connect with what we do on such a deep level that we can't think of ever doing anything else. And we're living our yiud, our soul's purpose. We really feel that we're deeply connected with that ideal. And personally, I thank Hashem every single day, multiple times a day, because of the ability that I have to be in this position to, carve my little niche in the world and to live out my soul's purpose. Sometimes I think about it and it boggles my mind, that we're able to have such a tremendous impact. And this has never been able to be done before in the history of all humankind. We've never had the technology. We've never had the ability to spread something so prolific to so many individuals who can benefit from it. And there's so much more we can do, but we're so humbled and honored that we have the capabilities and we're in the position to provide this for the Klal and for Jews all over the world. And I can't talk about that enough. These people, your friends, this couple that you sat with and at the table, that they deserve all the credit in the world. They deserve a plaque. They should be they should be put on a pedestal, and they're a prime example, exactly of why we do what we do. And thank you so much for telling me that story. That's amazing. It gives not only me chizuk, but when I tell it over to the guys, the chaver, they're going to be floored as well. It's tremendous. Thank you.
You know what? I'm sure you've had other stories, and I'm sure that there are countless stories of how a shiur that they watch in Tornei Time has affected their lives that you'll never hear about just because of the vast amount of listeners. So first of all, I just want to comment on something you said. Many of us, we could go our whole life searching for what are we here for? What is our purpose? It seems like your purpose, and if you did this Ad Mea V'Esrim, you would be the happiest guy in the world.
Correct. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. First of all, how many different speakers do you have on the site now?
Over the years, we've recorded many, many speakers. We have over 400 on the site now. Not that we record on a regular basis, but speakers that are available. Rabbis, Rebbitzins, misters and misses, and doctors, and you name it. We have over 400 speakers from all different aspects of Orthodox, Torah, Judaism. We feature and we upload on a regular basis over 100 shiurim every single week. And that's from ranging, depending on the weeks, depending on when it is, it's from about 70 to 80 different speakers.
So, and each one of them you set up to record, or people just record them themselves and send in the video?
Well, we set up this system it's very proprietary system, meaning that we have our own equipment, our own cameras. Shimon, who is the co-founder of TorahAnytime.com, he has a background in photography, and his father actually was a wedding photographer and did video and audio in the 80s when the equipment was as big as a truck. Uh-huh. And but that's his passion. He has besides for him having a technology background, because he owned computer shops, computer stores, computer repair stores, and service center. So he would actually, as a hobby on the side, be interested in photography and digital and videography. So he researched, as this became clear that this was a project and something that he wanted to invest his time and energy in, he researched the best way to specifically record a shiur. You could record many different things, many different applications, many different ways, but specifically to record a shiur, what do you do when you're in a Beis Medrash in Brooklyn and, there's people's cell phones going off and sirens in the background and really what we care about is the person who's learning is who we're thinking about. Call it selfish because, like I said before, we're our own biggest fans. It really bothers us and it irks us when there's a great shiur and it could have been recorded better. It could have been done right with the right technology, with the right equipment, and so we're very makpid on having the shiur be done as well as it possibly can be. And it's also kavod Torah. We want to make sure that we're putting something in there's you have something that's an amazing item. You want to make sure that it has a fitting vessel to be able to relate it to people, to get it out to the world, and that's another aspect of it. But getting back to
So what you're saying is so true, because my wife and I were big fans of Rav Shimshon David Pinkus, Zecher Tzadik Livracha. And, trying to get good quality of his shiurim is just impossible. Every time we try to listen to a shiur, it was recorded so bad, that just makes the shiur very hard to listen to. So, I totally hear what you're saying about that.
We have shiurim from Mordechai Gifter Zatzal. We have, Victor Miller Zatzal. And a lot of them, right, they were recorded. And even if you digitally remaster them, it's only as good as the original version. If there's, hisses and clicks and background noise, some of that can be taken out. But it wouldn't compare to how we record an average shiur on a regular, everyday basis today with the technology that we use.
100 shiurs a week. How much is your database now? How many shiurim do you have up on the site?
We have over, as far as information, it's over 25 terabytes of information that we host and stream. And it's over 40,000 shiurim. And like I said, it's growing by, we upload and originally record and upload over 100 every single week. So we look at recording shiurim.
40,000 shiurim. That's insane.
And the number keeps growing. And each one of them, we hold dear. We know it's spreading word of Hashem, and that's our passion. That's our core of what we do.
How many people would you say listen to a shiur, on a weekly basis or a month?
I can tell you the stats. I'm actually looking at the analytics and the stats for the last month. We had over 397,000 page views, which doesn't equal users, but it's reasonable to look at the analytics and drill down to know that 40,000 unique visits were people came to the site in the last month, and over 100,000 repeat visits. So there's at least 40,000 new users that are coming, to the site every single month. New, fresh IP addresses, and then anybody who's a return, visitor might visit 2 or 3 times. But that's who we're impacting.
So you have over 140,000 people a month coming to the site listening to shiurim.
Safe to say, yeah. And from also 158 countries, as just in the last month.
Just this last month from 158 different countries? You've had
correct.
People? Wow. You're bigger than Chabad.
I wouldn't say that. Chabad is amazing in their own right.
How many hours of that a year is being learned? Gosh.
So we spread over 4 million hours of Torah learning every single year. That's our humble calculations. We're lowering the numbers from what but we can safely
4 million. That's just mind-boggling. 4 million hours a year of Torah is being learned through your site.
Baruch Hashem.
See, that's why I started. I said I'm jealous. I wish. This is just a fantastic, unbelievable idea. And it's just affecting so many people. The numbers are staggering, but it seems like you're just getting started. First, let's tell our listeners, how did you get started? How did the whole process get started? Who came up with the idea? And, when did it begin?
Sure. Nachum, you're 100% right when you say that we're just getting started. It's the complete truth is that everything that we've accomplished up till now, it's a drop in a big bucket of what we're able to accomplish. And just a little background and history on how we got started was that Shimon, who I mentioned before, and his brother Reuven, their names actually are Reuven and Shimon. And what's even more siyata d'shmaya, that their father's name is Yaakov. So I'm a Yosef, and we have a Levi, and we have a Yehuda, and we're working on the Shvatim little by little. We're getting there. But the way it got started was that their family, Reuven and Shimon and Reuven, I should say, Shimon's older. They came from Uzbekistan. They came over. They grew up in Forest Hills, Queens, and they attended secular public school. But little by little,
they were born in Uzbekistan.
Their family came over from Uzbekistan, and they were born in the States. So they were born and raised here. But the culture is very much alive. The Iron Curtain, Russia, everybody was affected, and there was a mass exodus. As many Jews that could get out, settled in areas like Forest Hills. Arizona has a very big Uzbekistani community, and it's a tremendous part of Judaism. There's a incredible culture that they have in the background, and it's amazing. But that's a conversation for another time. The influence they had was from a rabbi. His name was Rabbi Deutscher, and he had a school called Yeshiva Primary that had a program where they would take kids from public school, and they would, just like you have, like a Hebrew high school. It was much like an NCSY program that they would actually get their parents to sign off on, and they would pull them out of public school and bring them to this program for about 2 hours, a few times a week. And they would, just imbue and instill in them Jewish characteristics and teach them, Yadut, and, it could be simple as the alphabet, leading to, talking about the Chagim and, basic Jewish knowledge. And they would be able to teach them about their heritage and, where they came from, and, give them a little spark that who knew what would come of it. So Shimon continued on and it was in Forest Hills High, but he would be connected with a place called Beth Gavriel, which is a community center, fantastic place in Forest Hills. And they would have regular shiurim there. Speakers like Rabbi Mordechai Becher would come in and give presentations. Rabbi Yossi Mizrahi, would be regulars. Rabbi Pesach Kron, would be, there are speakers that are in the area, and he would come and he would listen, and it would shake him up. It would not only inspire him and get him all all, riled up, but he felt that he could not keep this to himself. It wasn't able to be contained. He just needed to get this out to people he knew, his friends, his family. When he sat into a shiur and he listened to something that he felt was such a life-changing experience for him,
right.
As we know when we hear a really good shiur that it just happens to us, and we have to tell our friends, I had this incredible experience, you have to hear this, and you have to give over the Torah. It was the same situation that he thought of the best way he could do that. He got a video camera. His parents, Shimon's parents, gave him the first video camera. He used it. He asked the rabbi if he could record. The rabbi said, sure, no problem. And he made the recording. He used to spread it out to his friends and his family.
When was this, by the way? How many years ago? What are we talking?
This is 2006.
2006.
This is in 2006. And back then, he had a lot of friends and family that they wouldn't feel comfortable sitting in a shul or even being in a shul environment. It wouldn't happen. So he actually played it for them, brought it to their houses, made copies. It's a very local, very, friends and family type thing. And he saw huge results. He saw people would listen, people he knew, people from his community, and he would see real changes in them. And he realized the power that the Torah, and specifically spreading it in this way, had on the group of people that he was spreading it to. And from there, Reuben, Shimon's brother, he took a course. He was always in IT and information technology, and he took a internet course, basic HTML, how to slap up a web page, put it online. He created one. Looked for a bunch of different domain names. Torah Anytime was like the 9th choice. Everything else was taken. So that's in the more siyata d'shmaya about how the name came about. And and he put it up. And before long, emails were coming in from people in various locations all around the world, almost demanding that this be done more and that they get more cameras. And nobody wanted to put up money or give manpower to do it, but they would send an email saying, "Gotta get more. This is incredible. This is my lifeline. I live in New Zealand and I'm listening to Torah shiurim I've never had before. The closest Jewish community is the Chabad, and it's 250 miles away. I get there like once a year, and this is my lifeline. I love this. I've never been able to connect with my heritage this way." We got emails from places in Africa where Jews were there, and people and doing kosher supervision in China, business people who travel all the time all around the world. You name it. We saw there was a real need for this, and so that was where the impetus, the drive came to build out more of an organization. And we would never imagine at the time that it would grow into what it is today. But when
did you come into the picture? So Shimon was recording and spreading it, and then he got Reuven to use his IT to put up a site and to start spreading it. And then how did you meet these guys? And how did you get involved?
So in late 2006, early 2007 was when the website was constructed and put up, and about 20, 30 recordings. I was serving in the Israeli army. I was actually a sharpshooter in the Shimshon unit. I was stationed down in Gaza. I went through some decently intense situations, and when I finished, I just wanted to come back home, catch my breath. Home being in America, in New Jersey, where my family lived, and just give them a hug, let them know everything's
okay.
Okay, all right, Passaic, New Jersey. Excellent. And I just wanted to let them know that everything was all right, and I'm good, and and kind of get my bearings. It was a big transition to be in the military and then to be back as a civilian. It's kind of like you have this whole world, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and so it was like a reacclimation process for me.
Interesting.
And I really had to decide, what was going to be the next move, what was going to be the next step in my life. I had already done, some incredible things up till then, and I felt so grateful for the experience. But I had to decide, what was next. So I had the conversation with my mom, and I said, "Ima, what should I do with my life now? I'm finished with the military. I did my service. I want to do something in the future." Reaching out for advice, and she didn't bat an eyelash. She didn't even take a breath. She says, "Go to college, get a job." So I said to her, "Both?" and she just looked at me, the motherly look of yes, both. So before long, I was enrolled in Touro College on Landers in Queens. I had a bunch of buddies that I was in yeshiva with in Israel before I was in the military. That
Which yeshiva did you go to?
Say again?
Which yeshiva in Israel did you go to?
First, I started at an Or Sameach.
Oh, wow.
Love Or Samech, amazing institution. And then I was in the Boston Rebbe, actually, as a yeshiva. It's a kollel/yeshiva in Harnof. And I learned there for a little bit. And from there, I went to a place called Machon Meir, which is right around the corner from Merkaz Harav. And it's a phenomenal place. Rav Dov Begun, he's the Rosh Yeshiva there. And this was a great experience. And that was my jump-off point to get into the military. Once I was learning there for a little while, I knew I wanted to do something shaveh, something real.
So you were in Turo with some of your old yeshiva guy friends.
Right, fast forwarding to the future, right? So in Turo, I was learning, my Rebbe, my Rav, when I met him when I came back to Queens, was Rav Noach Isaac Albaum, and he still is to this day.
Oh, sure. He's huge.
So he would come, and we were a ragtag group of guys, we were just on our path, doing our thing. We were, learning and just, we have, good neshamas, good-hearted people, but we had a friend who created this, it was a learning group / yeshiva in Rabbi Albaum Shul. His family was part of the Kehillah for as long as anybody can remember, and he decided to bring his group of friends together and get them together in the back of the shul. His name is Yisrael Mordowitz, and he did an amazing thing. He got funding and got pizza on Tuesdays and different speakers to come in, and the Rav took us under his wing like we were his own children, and it still treats us like that to this day. Incredible, yeah, and he would take time from his, we knew what was, from his schedule and how there were so many demands on his time, but he would take time out of his busy schedule and he would come specifically before the Chagim and he would give us these little, vorts and drushes and, speak to us and impart wisdom, knowledge and give us, time and attention. And we felt so, so connected and so special that he would do that. And, we looked at ourselves as we're kind of like intruding in the back of the shul, like taking up a table and learning. And he looked at it as like, you guys are amazing. You're coming and learning Torah, and he gave us this whole new perspective on us, on who we were, and it gave us a lot of energy, a lot of power. And that's actually where I met Shimon. He came one day. He had a camera. I was, wondering how he even found out about the shiur. But it turns out one of our friends was connected with the computer store that he had around the corner and had mentioned that Rabbi Olam was giving a shiur, if he wanted to pop in and, and do his thing and then, go for it. So he did. And I remember speaking to him after the shiur. That was a life-changing conversation. And I said to him, what's this project you have going on? And it just said to him, do you need some help? I have some time during the day. I have a couple jobs going on and going to school, but, I have a few hours. I would love to come help out. Do you need any help? He said, please. He was doing the work of 3 people at least by himself, and it was running him, there's only so long he could keep that up. And so Baruch Hashem, I was able to come in and invest, my energy into thinking like how we can, create operations. I mean, this is a time we weren't even, a 501c3. We weren't incorporated as a nonprofit organization. We didn't have any type of status or funding or, whatever funding was very, from friends and family, very close, and just to keep things running and keep things going. Nobody was taking any type of salary. Nobody was, doing any work that required, anything more than just blood, sweat, and tears, passion and time and, putting in and knowing what the cause was, which was to get as much Torah out to the world, as much quality, true Torah out to the world as possible. And so from there, that was my involvement. That was in 2007. And, years later, still with it, never left it, always been connected and in one capacity or another. But, we went through a lot of, as any organization does, a business organization goes through. It's a growing entity. Sure. It's like a baby that goes into its through its phases. And as of now, we looking back, it's just a tremendous journey. So what an amazing ride.
So why don't you share with us one of your biggest challenges that you had in growing this organization, and I guess how you overcame it?
So our whole drive, everything that we do, it all is dependent on the technology that we have available to use in order to leverage technology to spread Torah to the masses. It's all dependent on that technology. So as technology develops and changes and advances, we need to also. We must, if not, we'll be, the technology that we use is only as good as, yeah, exactly. And it's very easy to, fall by the wayside or to become obsolete because of the usability if we don't have the proper usability, people aren't able to access the shiurim with ease, and it should be an enjoyable and fluid experience, then we're not doing our jobs, and we're losing out on that many more people that could be learning Torah. So that being said, we needed to...
Is that the pressure that you guys have on yourselves? Like, is that what drives you when something goes wrong? You say, but hey, if we don't do this, it's going to be less Torah being learned?
Always. It's always the concern. Wow. Our goal is to spread 1 million hours of Torah learning every single month. And we know we can do it because we right now have a system that is so robust and it's so beautiful. It's built so well, and it's having such an impact that we know that it's, in essence, if you kivyachol, a comparison, it's like having a Ferrari with a supercharged engine, and we need to just be able to drive it properly on the right roads and the right conditions and get the engine to be top speed. The machine is already there. It's built. We built this incredible platform for spreading Torah, but now it's about the marketing, and it's about the new features that we can add to it to be able to accomplish the goals of making things more usable and more user-friendly and get more people excited and passionate about learning. And it's all the background. And the shiurim are fantastic. They're fabulous. It's great. But there's a lot more that goes into it than just that. So you hit it on the head. That's exactly right. We're always concerned about, how is this going to translate into how much, into more Torah is learned, and how much more Torah is it going to have the impact on. And furthermore, when we look at we have to make a decision between taking two different directions, which one is going to have a greater impact on the klal? Which one at the end of the day can we reasonably decide is going to be able to spread more Torah? And that's what drives our decisions.
So did you have any type of inspirational figure or like a mentor or something that helped you guys along the way?
Oh, yeah, sure. It's a great question. First person instantly comes to mind is an incredible Yid and wonderful person. His name is Chesky Kauftal.
Of course, everybody knows Chesky.
Yeah, we met with him about 2.5 years ago in his office. Was connected to him through a friend of mine, and Baruch Hashem, it was magical. He has such an impact in so many areas of Klal Yisrael. It's out of this world. We're so impressed with all of his projects and everything he has going on. He has a umbrella organization. It's called Mishkan Yecheskel, and I believe it's named after his grandfather. And it's tremendous what he does, and he helped us to get over such a hump that we were, seemed insurmountable, but we persisted over the years of trying to build a brand new interface for the website that we knew, would really have, the impact that it's having now, and that would be able to be scalable. And
I remember your old site, and then you launched a new one. So that was because Chesky actually got involved and helped you guys out with that?
Yes, absolutely. If it wasn't for him, I could tell you for sure the new site wouldn't be up and running. Wow. We'd still probably be working with, programmers and random different outfits from different places that we would get to like a certain place, and then things would, crash and burn and fall apart. And we'd go back to the drawing board and do it again and, dust ourselves off and, just get back on the horse and keep riding. And we did that over the years, more than 8 times, if not 10 or 11 times, setting up a construct where we're going to build a new site, we're going to make it amazing, it's going to be wonderful, cross our T's, dot our I's, get everything in order, and then it just wouldn't materialize. We tried everything until we met Reb Chesky, and he totally took us out of that place and provided us with the resources that we need, the training, and he has all the zechus goes to him.
Wow, it's amazing. I had no idea he was involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope he's listening somewhere around the world, and he knows.
I met him at the Pernos Expo, and he says he's going to do a podcast episode with us. So, definitely people can be looking forward to that.
All right, yeah, it should be tremendous. That should be amazing. It's going to be. I can't wait to listen to that.
So you have like 140,000 people coming every month, but like, what is the potential of where this can go? Like, you're just getting started. There's so much you could do, but just from we haven't even talked about the not yet Frum world and, what your plans are. And, maybe we'll talk about some of the technologies or the features that are on your to-do list. But just from the Frum world, what's your goals?
Well, Nachum, I got to tell you that looking at the demographics from things like the Pew Report, Hanan Gordon and then Richard Horowitz came out with this report, will your grandkids be Jewish? And, that's more on the kiruv side of things. But looking at the demographics that are available to us, knowing that there's, let's say, taking the stats that we know of, there's about 15 million Yidden in the world, right, total. So 0.03% of the world's population, roughly. And that's not 0.3, 0.03 of the whole whole entire world's population. So we're not trying to be this behemoth, giant monster of an organization that's reaching out to the world population. We care about 15 million people. That's for the most part who, for all our drive, all of our energy, everything, all of our passion.
I'm saying you guys are not going to be happy till you reach all 15 million. It's not just the Frum world that you're going after, right now or maybe down the line.
Right. We have a responsibility. We have a complete achrayut. We have to be able to reach every single Jew. That there's no reason that we would ever stop and say, "Oh, we satisfied, one corner of the Jewish world, and we're okay, and that's fine." Call it ambitious, but it's realistic ambition.
But isn't right now the site and the shiur mostly geared towards from people, or is there sections that are or marketing that goes into reaching the not yet from people?
Well, you bring up a challenge that we constantly are addressing, and we're making headway every day towards creating a solution, which is that when somebody comes to TorahAnytime.com and they check out the classes that are available, and depending on what background they're from or where their orientation is or what camp they feel comfortable within the Jewish world, we're running a big gamut. We have a large audience from Reform, Conservative, Orthodox to Mizrahi, Israeli, Spanish speaking, French speaking, Russian speaking. We have talk about different conditions that we want to and need to meet in order to accomplish our goal of having everybody feel comfortable and wanting to learn as soon as they get to the site. It's a tall order to fill.
You have shiurim in English, Hebrew, Spanish, French, Russian. I think I saw you have Yiddish.
Yiddish as well, yep.
So are there separate sites? Can you go to TorahAnytime.com/French and just have a site that's all in French just for the French people and throughout all the other countries and languages, etc.?
So that's part of the plan is, having the whole entire website translated into Spanish, having the whole entire site translated into French, even having shiurim with subtitles, so that we're taking specific ones and titling them out. We have all these in the works, all these.
Right. There's a lot of gedolim, a lot of shiurim that are not accessible to the English speakers just because they can't, keep up the language. But if you put up, the translation, that's fantastic.
Right. So that's whole nother challenge and a whole nother area that we're working in to address that and make sure that people have the ability from, cross culture and across the world that they're able to access it and be able to do that. But first things first, our main goal and our drive is we are a video Torah learning website. We have our own equipment. They record video lectures. We have over 150 cameras in the organization now that are operating on a regular basis. And, we really, truly believe that having an audio visual experience, even though video takes a lot more storage and it takes more to stream, but having an audio visual experience, the U.S. Department of Labor did a study and they came to the conclusion that when you hear something and you see something versus just hearing it, for example, if you're taking instruction on a certain way to do something and somebody just tells you how to do it versus somebody showing you how to do it and you hearing it, so you have a visual that goes along with it, it's 65% versus around 28%. So talking about
this is an audio podcast, right?
Yes. But if you could put up some visuals, on the page, that would be good too. Maybe it would increase it to 30%.
Maybe there's an old picture of me babysitting you, lying around somewhere.
Oh, okay. You could use that for blackmail, I might be pretty cute. I don't know. It might help things out. I'm pretty sure my son, he's a spitting image of me when I was about 2 years old now, and he's a beautiful boy. And I saw a picture of me. It prompted me to look at baby pictures of myself, and I said, "Wow, he is really, really cute." He's a cute kid. He looks just like me.
You were a very cute kid. Everybody,
thank you.
I mean, your name is Yosef now, but I remember you as Little Joey. Joey.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And back on topic, the goal is to spread as much Torah to as many Jews as possible. But the way that we do it is through the use of the best technology that's available today. If somebody goes to school for technology nowadays, they're in a 4-year, let's say, college program for programming, computer programming, or anything that has to do with IT. Within 2 years, the knowledge that they have is obsolete, and it doesn't matter anymore because so much more technology has come out. Technology doubles every 2 years. So that's something that we're dealing with. Besides for the website, we have our mobile app, which is the best mobile app on the market. There's not even anything in the same class that does what it does. It's just as good as any, non-from business-ended, company that spent millions of dollars on their app. We have the same functionality, the same features, the same technology in our app that they do.
The same 40,000 plus videos?
And there's everything on the website is available on the mobile app.
Wow.
And it makes it so much more convenient to access the information, access these shiurim on your smartphone, on your devices that when you're on the go. And it's that much. We thought that by launching the mobile app that we would get less visits to the website.
Right.
And we launched it last year, when we spent 2.5 years developing the mobile app, because we're not into putting something out unless we really believe and truly feel that it's proper and it's ready and it's tested. The mobile app actually it totally astounded us, because putting out the mobile app didn't cause any of the website stats to go down. It only caused the website stats and the mobile app stats to go up. So we had so much more activity and so many more users because the app was out there, and it was very counterintuitive to what we were expecting. But when looking at the stats, I mean,
what are the stats like for mobile? Like how many? Do you know how many installs you've had of the app?
So we had over 25,000. It's a free app, completely free, available on Apple and Android. And we don't have plans on making it available. A guy from my shul, he's always coming to me saying, "No, when are you going to do the app for the BlackBerry?" And I tell him, I said, Avrami, you're the only person who has a BlackBerry, so it would only be for you. But those days of the ship has sailed. And Android and iPhone, I mean, talk about having a huge chunk of the market and dominating the space. That's where we have the apps available. Totally free. Our whole entire, one of our values, or one of our core values, is that Torah is free. Torah is a gift from Hashem, and Hashem gave us the Torah as a present to enjoy and to dig into and to delve into. And a Torah means instruction. It's instruction on how to live and to to be connected to the Eibishter, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is exactly what we model in our in our operations of the site and how we run the site. So our philosophy is that we'll never charge for a shiur. You'll never come to the site and say you have to pay $1 to download this, or you have to you must give a donation in order to. That will never happen. So you'll never have to pay for.
I think that's very commendable, but I'm in the technology field a little bit. And, when you're hosting and streaming this amount of traffic, and the mobile apps and the equipment and the technology, and where's the money coming from if it's not coming from the users? I mean, and like the things that you talk about that you want to do in terms of translation and in terms of, putting up captions on sites and marketing and reaching I mean, if you had a budget of $5 million, it wouldn't be enough. So like how do you, I guess, make money, or I guess it's all donors? Like how do you do it?
Exactly. And great question. I'm really glad you asked. Take a nonprofit that looks just like a business, and imagine that you have a business that's making a product and it's giving away all of its product for free. So the question I'm hearing you ask is, how could you be in business if you're making a product and just giving it away for free, and what's coming back to you, you're just expecting people to just automatically jump on and say, hey, this is sounds like a great idea, I'm gonna fund you. So the answer is no. We work hard fundraising and making asks from people and presenting the organization and the stats of what we do and the impact that we have on Klal Yisrael. We're always looking for new partners that want to grab the spiritual merit and grab the zechut of being able to be part of this project. We're spreading 4 million hours of Torah learning every single year. Our budget right now is around $450,000, and we make it happen. We pound the pavement. The way to do it is not to charge for the shiurim, because it would actually have a negative impact, and I'll tell you why. If you have all the people out there that we know of, and many, many more that we don't know of, that enjoy Torah anytime and that wouldn't put in their credit card information to spend $1 for having to, to being forced to purchase the shiur. There would be so many people who are not in good financial situations, or so many people overseas that don't want to deal with the hassle of putting in their information and dealing with whatever goes along with that. It's just mental blockages to it. Our goal is to spread Torah in the quickest and most convenient, most easy, and dare I say fun way possible. We want people to be inspired and
so you won't even put up like a tip jar type thing, like, hey, if you're inspired by this shiur, donate $1 or something like that.
We definitely would. We're actually about to implement something like that now with the system that underneath.
I'm sure there are thousands of people that would be more than happy to contribute. People that listen to the shiurim all the time has an effect on them. What you put in your information once, and then just give $1 tip or $2, whatever it is, every time you listen to something. I think there's a lot of people that would be more than happy to do it.
Right, and you're 100% right. That's an important distinction to make. It's not that we're saying that we wouldn't go out and collect donations and funds to help us to do what we do in order to do that. We 100% do, absolutely, but we won't ever force anybody to donate in order to.
And you don't want to be in their face either. Just like more subtle type of thing.
Exactly. It's if you feel hakaras hatov, if you feel that you benefited from a shiur on the site, if you want to help other people learn Torah, if you want to be involved in the most incredible mitzvah, Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, that we say it every morning in Shachris, that learning Torah is compared to all the other amazing mitzvahs combined. Learning Torah holds its own weight on the scale, along with the greatest mitzvahs you can imagine. Then jump on board. We're more than happy to bring you into the organization, to explain to you everything that's going on, what we have going on, the projects that we're doing. We're a family. We belong to Klal Yisrael. We're an extension we're the technological leg of Klal Yisrael. We want to make sure that we're getting Torah out to all corners of the world, and we have our core operations. But like I said, we always have ability and reason to grow and to do more, and to do it even more successfully than we've been doing it now. Because you can, being a successful entrepreneur yourself, which I hope your listeners know about your illustrious background that I won't go into, because I know it's a podcast, but I know you're going to start blushing, and I don't want to make that happen. And you've been inspirational to me and to Torah Anytime, and in many ways beyond that you even know. But I'll tell you that core the key is that to always be looking at the positive and litova of what we have good going for us, but to do what we call a SWOT analysis. What are our strengths and what are our weaknesses? And it's like a constant state of musar. That we're always comfortable where we're at, but we're not comfortable where we're at, because we know there's so much more to do and we have to grow. So we know that Hashem gave us the kochot and to the energy to do what we do. We have to live up to that.
One of the things, I've noticed that you don't put, and I wonder if this is by design, I'm sure you thought about it, but putting up like sponsored ads, before a shiur or at the end of a shiur, is that something that you thought about but decided not to do?
Sure, we have like pre-rolls and post-rolls. That capability would come with an ad server. We were looking into at a point, putting it onto the site, and that was going to be our model to actually implement. And we started out doing it and going down that path, but we found for our particular organization, for the space we were in, that the partners that we were working with that were supposed to be generating the ads and getting things going, it would never reach a place where at the time we would be able to monetize it enough that the energy and the time that we were putting into managing it would be worth the revenue that was coming back from it. And it goes along also, we don't want to distract people from learning. So if we're sending traffic to businesses, we're more than happy to do that. We have sponsors that have businesses, and we'll do things like put their advertisements in email blasts, or talk about, this is the official sponsor of, this is our official video equipment of TorahAnytime.com, things like that are more corporate sponsorships rather than advertisements like, buy this or buy that. People have done that, but also speaking to colleagues in the field.
No, listen, I love it. I hear about the budget that you have and really how much more you need if you want to do everything you want to do. I'm just like, God, you got to make more money. You got to get some more money somehow.
Absolutely. And it works on connections. It works on doing fundraisers. We have, fundraisers that we do on a regular, rolling yearly basis. We do, raffles, and we have telephone campaigns. We have matching campaigns. Baruch Hashem, we have people who, step up and say, if we'll donate $25,000, if you can, match it in this amount of time. And we say, okay, great. We'll get going. We'll get in gear. And, we set it up, and we're always open to more suggestions, more ideas. And, we'll never turn down any viable, any feasible, idea that would be silly. But we explore, all the angles and all the options. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we do what we try and test, and we know it works. And it's always towards a goal of being solid, being sustainable, and being solvent. We want to spend as much time as we can spreading Torah, and as least time as we can doing anything else. So, but we of course take the time necessary to do the important things like fundraising, because ein kemach ein Torah, right?
Literally.
Absolutely. And that's where we're holding as far as fundraising. But, the more we grow and the more people that we speak to, and, this podcast is also excellent. I'm sure that a lot of people that are listening to it now will, hopefully be inspired and be able to know that we have many, many openings. We're an open team. We're a family. We like to welcome people in. We want people to be in contact and be in touch. I'd love to personally sit down and meet people who have the ability and the means to help and to help us to grow and to really catch on to what we're doing, and hang on to the idea of using technology to spread Torah and impact so many lives. It takes so little to do so much.
We have a lot of great marketers and a lot of great entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast. And so if you're listening, and you have an idea for Torah Anytime, definitely be in touch. I think, what's the email info? I'll put it in the show notes. I'll put everything and all the links in the show notes also. But was it info@torahanytime.com?
Sure, info@torahanytime.com. I check it every single day. I'll get the message, and please reach out. We'd love to get something started and be able to mobilize.
Yeah, just one of the questions I wanted to ask you earlier. So, I mean, if you're recording, you have 150 different cameras out there. You're uploading 100 different shiurs a week. Who is recording them? And if I wanted to record shiurs in my city, how does that work?
Okay, so the way that shiurim get recorded are there's a few different arrangements that we have. For the most part, every single person who's recording a shiur is a volunteer who is either going to the shiur on a regular basis anyways and decides that, they understand that by them bringing a camera and hitting the record button and hooking it up and getting it to an uploader, that that they'll be able to reach thousands more people, depending on the shiur. And we put a lot into these relationships. We work out the logistics. We make sure that things are running smooth. We have a lot of operations that are surround, just making sure that equipment is where it needs to be, and also that it's working properly, and that the quality of the shiur is right. But to directly address the question, so it works out one way where people that are going to the shiur anyway are bringing a camera kit. It works out another way where a Talmud of a certain Rav or Rebbitzin will say, I love my Rav or Rebbitzin so much, and they need to be on Torah Anytime. They need to get out to the world, and so they'll come and contact us and say, listen, we're going to get a camera. We're going to take care of all of the considerations. You train us on your system and how to do it, and we'll make it happen. Of course, we have a rabbinical board that approves all of our speakers, and so it's a process. We can't just and like as I mentioned, which is a very important point, we put a lot of energy into the relationships that we have with our speakers. We're not just
you don't just take
YouTube.
anything, put it up, and you're good to go.
Right, we're not the YouTube of the Jewish world. We, all of our speakers, we form partnerships with, in the sense that they're the best ambassadors for the organization. They're the best people who can spread what we do and talk about what we do, because they have the Talmidim that are going to be watching, and all the kavod, everything goes to the speakers, the Rebbeim, the Magidei Shir that are on the site, and the wonderful Torah that they're spreading. We're just the pipeline for that and the conduit. So we strategically set up the relationship so that we work with the Rebbeim and the Magidei Shir that we can have that personal relationship with, that we can connect with, that understand what we're doing and are passionate about spreading it. So for the most part, that's our growth model, of how we're going to get out there and how we're going to grow is making those. It's more of strategic partnerships at this point. And I'll tell you why. It's because initially we came from a very, I would say, innocent place. A place where we just wanted to spread as much Torah to as many Jews as possible without taking any reality into consideration. What does that mean? That we didn't think that by sending a camera to all the corners of the world, sending cameras out everywhere in the whole entire universe, and allowing every single person that wants to be on the site to be on the site, that it would run us ragged. It would almost make us go broke and topple the whole entire organization, and we didn't have time for any personal life. I can only tell you the amount of time and energy that we put in. Money was not even a consideration. Forget about getting paid. We're just talking about getting sleep. We were all over the place, and it was it's a wild ride. It was amazing, that we did what we did, and it helped us to grow. But it also it forced us to scale down and to be a lot more realistic about our goals and mature. It was really a maturing process.
So really, your recordings are all done either in the U.S. or Israel?
U.S., Israel, Canada. We have cameras in England, in London, and Manchester. We have a camera in Brazil, in South Africa.
Wow.
We have a camera in Mexico City. We have a few
cameras.
So
this is scaling down?
Well, this is where we're at now. That we've already accomplished and what we've established already. As far as where we're growing to, it's just very measured growth. It's very directed. It's in line with our plan, and it's more common that we're looking to go after speakers that we want to put on the site versus speakers coming to us and us putting them up. It does happen. It does happen in different ways, in various ways, but it has to be a very comfortable, a situation that flows, a situation that makes sense, and it doesn't take that much of our resources, that we only have a limited amount of resources that we can invest in any situation. So for all those reasons, and more, that's how we operate.
Okay, so let me ask you, we talked about some of the great things about the site, like one of the about features and about what's to come. I know one of the features that I loved, and I guess came out probably about 6 months ago or so. You could correct me, but that you can pick which Rabbanim that you want to follow, and anytime a new shiur gets posted from that Rav, you get an email saying, "Hey, a new shiur is put up by Rav Wallerstein or whoever it is that you're following, which I think is absolutely fantastic. It's just like it's a subtle reminder and, to come visit the site and to listen to the shiur, and, you never miss a shiur that's going up from somebody you want to listen to. What other features are on the to-do list, I guess, in the next, let's say, 12 months to 2 years?
So, yeah, the follow features was amazing, that we built it up. It's a way that we're able to take the content and bring it to you. The Torah comes to you, to your doorstep, to your inbox, rather than you having to check, when you have a Rav that you love, that you want to see if a shiur went up, and knowing that it's usually uploaded, at 11 o'clock on a Thursday morning, because the shiur was given on, Wednesday night. But now, it's, maybe this week it's 12 o'clock, or maybe this week it went up at 9 o'clock, and you could have listened to it already, and then you missed it. Whatever. So that is that's that feature. But the new features that we have are so revolutionary. I mean, ones that I can actually talk about that are in the works. Number one is a feature it's a referral system where you'll be able to tag shiurim. You'll be able to put your own tags on them, because not only are we a great resource for people who just want to learn Torah, but we're also an incredible resource for people who are Torah teachers themselves. Whether it's kiruv professionals or bayim or moras in any type of setting that are giving over knowledge. And let's say Nachum, you're even preparing a shiur that you want to give in your local beis medrash, or you have a chabura of guys that you get together with, and you want to give something over, and you need some material, or you help you out.
Looking
if you
for
just
a story, or looking for something that powerful. Exactly.
And so we want you to be able to come to Torah Anytime and not just search for a shiur based on title name and based on what the title is, if it had to do with a main topic like halacha or a parsha, but to drill down to the deep level where you're able to say, I want to learn, or I want to find information about particular
bris milah, pidyon haben, or
exactly.
So then you'll just be able to see all the shiurim that come up that talk. Wow, that is brilliant. I mean, that's fantastic.
Right now, if you look on the site and you type in for bris milah, the only things that will come up are things that are going to be have bris milah in the title of the shiur, or somehow it was tagged. But the feature that we're talking about is allowing users to come to the site and to be able to. They'll be approved, taggers, call them taggers. They're content curators and creators, and the people who are passionate about this will be approved to create tags for shiurim, and that helps us with the need to have to moderate every little thing that happens by vetting the people beforehand, right. And being able to tag the specific shiurim based on particular content. So then that will be searchable. All that will be searchable. Not only that, but we're talking about it's going to be called a timeline tag. And what's that? A tag was just that the whole shiur itself is under that tag. But if you're not interested in watching a whole shiur because the speaker could have been talking about 13 different inyanim during that shiur. You want to know specifically and drill down. You want search results that from this shiur, from 1 minute and 17 seconds until 2 minutes and 15 seconds, that this was what was spoken about. And when you click on that, you'll be able to skip right to that part of the shiur.
Oh my gosh.
That will be what you'll be getting. And not only that, but all the search results that you get will be from all different speakers to be able to, it's never been done before. The tech is involved to make it happen, but we're working on it. We're doing it, and please God, it should, a lot of siyata d'shmaya, it should come out and be able to be that much more beneficial.
That's incredible. So someone tags something like a story about Hanukkah, or crazy story about Hanukkah, and you could just come and search story about Hanukkah, and you'll see 1,000 or 100 or whatever it is, different places where people tell us over a cool story about Hanukkah. That's
right. It might be tagged as inspirational story, might be tagged as well as Hanukkah. So if you type into the search field Hanukkah inspirational story, that particular tag will come up, and it will always read the tags based on the parameters that you set in the search field.
Brilliant. And we're any other features that are coming up soon, or?
Oh, there's so many. We're working on a lot of really amazing projects.
Is it a time issue or a money issue? What's holding back? You're just really ramping up.
Yeah, it's both. It's always time and money. And the only resources that we have, available to do what we do, that really matter are time and money. Manpower, of course, but we have an incredible tech team, and they have the capability of, working faster. They could definitely be working. We could be managing more projects and doing more to the site. But talk to any programmer, talk to any web developer who's worth their salt and really has a good experience, and they'll tell you that there's always this balance that needs to be maintained by maintaining the website, just the maintenance and the getting rid of programming system has bugs from Google to Apple to you name it. There's always bugs that need to be taken care of. And then there's the fresh new technology that you're implementing. So we've spent extensive time and energy setting up a testing environment that's a mirror of the original site so that we can then be able to implement things as if they were already implemented and test them in a very controlled manner and then be able to go live with them. So, step by step, we'll make it happen. But absolutely. The answer is if we had the manpower, the resources, the time, the money to do it, we can make it happen definitely on a quicker timetable than we're doing it now.
And where do you see yourself 10 years from now with Torah Anytime?
10 years will be well past our million hours per month goal. Right. My hope and dream and expectation is that Mashiach will definitely be here by then. But that doesn't mean that we won't be using Torah anytime to learn Torah. Anything I've ever learned about Yemei Mashiach, it doesn't say anything about there not being computers or not being technology to learn. Things I'm sure will be much different than they are now, obviously. Right. But so I'm expecting to still be involved with TorahAnytime.com. I'm expecting that we'll have the greatest impact that we can. We'll continue.
But do you see yourself being in 100 countries? Do you see yourself having 50 different versions of the website? Do you see yourself, the organization, having 5,000 volunteers? Like with time and money, where do you really want to bring this to?
So once we reach our whole goal that we're driving towards right now is 1 million hours a month. And that's with all the resources that we have in order to do that. And our goal is to do that within the next 4 years. Okay. So that's our 4-year plan. Beyond that, once we have that down, we can talk about, taking it further. But as far as having a 10-year plan, we really have a few different...
Not a plan, just like sometimes you come up with the idea. I said, that's not for now, but, eventually we'd love to do that.
We have a document that it would just knock your socks off. If you saw it, you would be like, oh my gosh. The one idea that I just, that I just threw out that, we're implementing right now that's in the works. That's part of a lot bigger project. Also, that's just like a phase one. What I mentioned is of a bigger project that we're going to be doing. Like you mentioned, translation, having most every shiur or the ones that are, watched the most at least, or the ones that are the most impactful. Those will be, transcribed, different languages. There'll be, incredible features that I didn't even mention. I don't know if I even have time to mention them on this podcast, but if anybody, wants to contact me or if we could talk more about it later, that'd be wonderful. I'm so passionate and I love talking about this, so I could do it all day.
Fantastic. So let me just ask you a couple of more just quick questions. One, if you could be in an elevator with anybody for 10 minutes, who would it be?
Anybody. Wow. It's like saying...
Yeah, I didn't prep you for this one.
What's your favorite song in the entire world? And you can only pick one. Well, it's an elevator. We could fit a few people in there, right?
Yeah, but only one's in there with you. You get stuck for 10 minutes.
Ooh. I would want to talk to David HaMelech. I really would. David HaMelech.
My wife also. I think that's who she would pick.
Yeah, I would just ask him like a lot of questions, as many as I can in 10 minutes. But he's so inspirational. A million other names come to mind. Yosef Davis, Moshe Rabbeinu. You name it. Like I would love 10 minutes in an elevator with any one of our gedolim.
Well, someone from our generation.
Our generation. I would.
Besides me, I don't count.
Oh, how did you know?
I know.
You know me so well.
Besides me.
I was going to say. Just want to hang out in an elevator with you for 10 minutes. It'd be amazing. So I would probably. I have to think about this. It's our generation. 10 minutes in an elevator. Pick one. No, 2 on the spot. Can't do it.
Okay. You know what? You'll let me know later. We'll put it in the show notes.
Okay.
Anyway, this has been absolutely fantastic. We could go on and on. Maybe we'll do a part 2, sometime and see where you're holding and see what's going on. But for now, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Really kol kavod. When I say I'm jealous, I am. To be spending every day just spreading Torah in the ways that you're doing. 4 million hours a year. That's just insane numbers. So really kol kavod to you, to the whole Torah Anytime team, to everybody that participates and helps and donors and, people that are recording the shiurim. Really kol kavod. I can't wait to see this continue to grow. I'm proud to call you my friend. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of, the whole company. It's really, really fantastic. And I wish you nothing but tremendous hatzlacha and bracha. And, I can't wait to see your continued success.
Nachum, I'm Maine, first of all, and I can't let you end without giving it right back to you and saying that how impressed and it's amazing everything that you've built, and that you're also in line with following your yiud and your soul's purpose in this world. I can't think of another person who's more driven and passionate about the klal and about doing amazing things with being able to take what we have in this world and elevate it and bring it to a better state and a greater place of being than you. And I appreciate your time and for giving me this ability and this opportunity to have this forum to reach people. And I encourage everybody who's listening to please, feedback is key. Feedback is amazing. Reach out, get in touch with us. Me, and I'm sure I could speak for you as well. You want to hear feedback, and people should get involved. And we love to collaborate, and we love to talk to people and get new ideas and see who's out there in the world who's like-minded. So please be in touch.
Fantastic. Okay, Yosef, thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, kol tov. Hatzlacha. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Frum Entrepreneur podcast with Nachum Kligman. We hope you learned something valuable, and we'll share this with your